Good morning. The saddest part about measurement of social difference is that you take things for granted. You think this is the example and this is the dividend and everything is all right. Just like in economics, the experts say that when there is a rise in sale of tractors, you can assume that there is a flourishing agricultural sector to an extent. But all these are micro indicators, and a social dividend from education is something that you stamp on future, something that is there for the coming generations to analyze. We have for long been analyzing these aspects of deteriorating social assets, the deteriorating quality in social assets of Kerala, and the decreasing scientific temper among citizens, and how it's a product or it's a culmination of the adulteration in the educational arena, which you can call as, which is actually a more sweet tag of a sweet, more refined definition of political intervention. Right now, with the changing times, you have seen a changing scenario in the educational arena too. It's not an accidental. It's something that is inevitable. We have discussed that in some other columns. From this parallel educational system of parallel colleges, tutorial colleges, we have seen a shift to entrance coaching centers in the early 2000 and up to mid 2010. Then you have seen a rise in bank coaching PEC centers, and post-COVID, with the global scenario shifting, you have seen another shift. And the kind of lifestyle that people have come to terms with, or that they have familiarized, the online channels are here to stay, and how it's a challenge and how it's an opportunity. First, Kerala is encountering the former, the challenge. Question paper leaked from the source, from the root to a YouTube channel. We have discussed that in many other columns, how the left intelligentsia, it's a distorted version of left intelligentsia, and we call it, and this is actually a communist intelligentsia, and how they creep into the academic realm and how they destroy the ambience. This is a result, or this is something that is coming out from that sewage. So, depoliticization of academic realm, it's a big thing, something that you cannot immediately address. But it's time to press the panic button. And it's also time to smell the coffee, that this has to be addressed. What is this? There's something that is rotten, and we have to address it, and for that we have to admit it. And the first thing is shaping up the educational system to meet the challenges, and to understand that you cannot completely eliminate this system of online education, because it's about the reach, it's about the access, and it's of course a parallel system that can bring many to the mainstream. So it's about how we tackle it. And the first thing is the rating. Without being a police state, without resorting to censoring, how can you pacify the situation. The first thing is rating. We have discussed too many issues related to this, including these channels in the guise of education and the vlogs, how they promote religious fundamentalism and their personal business interest. So, if something like that happens, you can inform or you can refer that to a security agency. So, leave aside. The issue is not a police state, but an academic state. We have discussed the possibility of a government online education system and how we can use the possibility of Shashi Tharoor, his clout, his skill to bring the best brains in the world in an online platform like this OS. It's not as superior as this idea. So how it's not that this idea is from me, but it's an idea that you can use. It's not my brainchild, actually. I'm not telling that a government idea is much inferior to me. It's just that there is a chance of politicization in OS. But still, when a person like Shashi Tharoor, and when you can use his cloud, an online platform, what change it can bring. So we have discussed that in videos attached to this. And the thing here is, a panel of educationalists, civil service officers, how they can bring in civil service officers with this academic interest background, and how they come up as a panel that constantly give rating to these online channels. The first thing is, the channels must specify their genre. Is it a vlog? Is it an entertainment channel? Is it education? Is it teaching? And if it is teaching, what kind of materials you are giving? First, that has to be specified. That has to be classified. Second thing is, each and every single this classification, this group has to be brought under a separate team, and every week they must bring out a rating. Not necessarily a verbal rating or a video. This is called. No, it's just about a rating. Especially in this online realm, ratings are very important. And when these ratings is provided by an authorized public system, that gives more credibility. Say you fix a limit or you fix a ceiling. A channel has been specified as education channel, teaching channel. They have more than 500 subscribers. From now on, every week we will provide a rating. And this rating is about accountability. It's about giving the best quality service to public. And when public has been given a review from the authority, from a reputed public authority, the channels have no other option but to shed their wield interest. And this brings in healthy competition and quality in the education system. That is where the issue starts. No, that's where the solution actually starts. And the second thing is, and the first thing is that it triggers healthy competition. And who participates in this competition? It's the parallel educational system. This brings out too many options, like how we can revive too many Baijus. If Baiju betrayed ethics, we need someone who is loyal to the society. So you see competition. When this competition comes up, you see more options. The first option is quality service to public. And the second thing is, they directly compete with the private education system. And this private educational system is constantly under radar for wrong reasons. Despite a state known for superior labor rights, the private educational institutions, especially schools, despite the color and glamour they possess, they rank, they stay in the bottom for the kind of democratic space, free space they provide to their employees, especially teachers. So the teaching staff now finds a more open space, more avenues to perform, more avenues to earn. And this, along with this brings in pressure in the public education system where you have been constantly evaluated. You have to match up because each student will be a subscriber of at least one teaching channel. So you have to compete with yourself to compete with them, to stay relevant, to stay competitive. So this triggers a kind of healthy competition. Because the educational scenario in Kerala, the teaching scenario in Kerala is on, it's what do you say, it's on the decline. So just like what the net and this CSIR is doing, teaching has become the last option you want to take up. Too much complication, too much qualification tests, and the kind of politicization in government schools. So this brings in lots and lots of options. It's time to, you get more space to unveil yourself, reveal yourself, enhance yourself. And that competition means this is a pressure tactic. Just like in the online, just like you see on this online buying spree, who are all being sidelined. Nobody is sidelined because they are forced to, the retail outlets near you, including the premium brands, they are forced to provide better rates, more affordable rates for the kind of options you get in the online space. So in the very same way, you get more space, you get more opportunities. So you can't be pressurized forever. Along with that, you see this accountability, this rating. And that is where we come to the responsibility of exams, the kind of credibility of exams. Why can't we bring in a new system where the people who make question papers are being treated on par with a security official? Might sound primitive, but still, say if this exam is on July, you are preparing the exam question paper from April, or rather during April and May. From March onwards, the names are revealed. These people are making the question paper. And then, as I said before, they're constantly under the radar, or they are under security radar. Their mails, their emails, their personal chats are being invigilated. So, might sound, as we said before, might sound a bit primitive, unorthodox. But you see the kind of sacrifice that the security person, including the scientists, make. It's not a sacrifice actually, it's a responsibility. For 1 month, you are investing yourself in the society, for the society. For that, you must be accountable. It's not an intrusion. It's not like you are under a police state. It's not that your personal details are collected, but just because you are under the security radar, you cannot betray your responsibility. That's the important thing. It's definite that this question paper leak, the origin is from this left, so-called left academic wing, and we have been doing pointing out this for too many times, for many years. So don't have time to. It might sound a beating around the bush. So let's leave it. The issue is preparation of question papers is no longer an activity of credibility. It's not an activity of accountability. And that accountability has to be retained, because the educational system is all about accountability. And that is why we talked about this ratings. In the very same way, there's no censoring has been done. In the very same way, here too, you are being brought under the radar of a social introspection, social invigilation. So for that 1 month, you are bound to sacrifice, giving to the will of people. There must be good perks must be allowed. And the second thing is complete CCTV coverage of preparation of these questions and examinations. It's not, as we told before, this is not an expenditure but an investment. So accountability has to be brought in. And that accountability is where quality starts. It is from there quality sprouts. And the second thing is, as we told before, YouTube channels give access to people who don't have access. Especially these private tuition centers, this additional education that people, additional tutoring that people need. YouTube channels is actually a free space, it's a free software. But somehow they defied the norms of society, willfully and very painfully. So when you bring in that accountability, you bring in that access, especially in this tribal area, people from this tribal area, they get better access. And when for that to happen, better internet connectivity has to be provided. So you see an all-round development. You see more jobs. You see people who have been sidelined for one reason or the other into the mainstream. You're bringing them to the mainstream. You can see the reports coming out on Ekalavya schools, a noble initiative, but you see the reluctance of tribal community to completely embrace it, either due to the lack of quality or due to the subsequent amenities or prosperity that it was unable to provide. It is unable to provide. So when that is the case, a socially superior Kerala compared to other states, they can bring too many people to the mainstream. It could be the tribal areas. It could be people who have geographically isolated for one reason or the other. So you bring too many to mainstream. So it's about an elevation of competition, really. You're not eliminating competition. You are elevating that scenario. So you come across too many issues and how that has been manifested, how you analyze it. Because you see this exodus, you see this internal migration, you see the deteriorating quality in the government schools, or even if the quality is retained, the kind of detachment that it has from this evolving job market, how that pales in comparison to global education scenario, how people are leaving it for better amenities, and what will happen if this migration is going to be curtailed at some stage due to some strategic international reasons. So you see, you have to accommodate people, you have to accommodate the changing global educational scenario, and you must understand that prosperity must sprout from the education you get. And this prosperity is the kind of jobs that you can provide, jobs that match your taste. You see that the kind of disturbance, the discomfort that people are facing. And this simmering discontent, it ramming into this stable mansion. And then you come to grips that it is the collapse of certitudes. What you hold on to, what you boast, it was actually a farce. It is false too. You need to leave. And you see people losing a sense of ownership of the social progress that the state has. With the cultural conscience relenting to the encroachment of this impending wooziness, there is this sense of purpose, there is a sense of hope or a sense of hopelessness. And you see how this sagging sort of scientific temper, how that plays out. Because this discomfort, this discontent is the culmination of accumulated inertia in this educational system. How they fail to move on. When you see that you are not moving along with time, you tend to say that I must stay where I am, because this big system that I have is so superior that you don't have to move on. That is where the issue starts, and that is where the issue ends. So it's about how you learn to move on. It is this so-called mansion. It's a kind of certitudes that you are unwilling to accept, that this is not what is actually true. This has changed, or this has to change. And ratings and accountability, they bring in change. They make you move on, even if not at a brisk pace. Let's realize that accountability has to be brought back. Accountability has to stay for us to stay relevant and socially inclusive. Thank you.